Welcome back to another week of Friday Night Lines. Last week we took a week off, holidays, Thanksgiving, had to enjoy some time with the family, eat some food, drink some alcohol, watch some football, do whatever we had to do to just kind of get by and relax a little bit, get away from everything. But you know what I did? I went ahead and just because I'm dedicated to the game, you know, I, I I love the game. I just can't get out of it. So I went ahead on Twitter. I posted my picks last week for everybody. Saturday morning, I posted the college football picks. I gave you an incredible fucking record of 4-1, 4-1. But not only did I give you 4-1, I'm just gonna brag a little bit about. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Ooh.
I'm just gonna just gonna brag a little bit about my Saturday. Wait, let me do introductions first. I've got me. This is Loaded Box DJ Primo, your host. I fucking kill it every week. You know it. We're going dual screen this week. We're gonna do a little Friday Night Lines extended version. So I'm gonna give you lines right away. I'm gonna give you all my picks. Pat will come in with his NFL pick, and then we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk playoffs. We're gonna talk fantasy football, whatever questions we have, and just whatever goes ahead. We don't script it too much. We got a little bit of something planned, but you know me, I like to go off the cuff. I got my boy Pat on the ones and twos over here on the dual screen. I don't know what side he's on. I'm
You
not
got it right the first time, man.
this way over here. Yeah. And so, anyways, I'm bragging a little bit about my Saturday. So I not only did I go 4-1, giving you guys picks, I proceeded. I proceeded to go 11-3-0 gambling on Saturday, and I've been on a heater since. I started off rough on Sunday. I went 3-2 in total. Um, Sorry, I was looking at my phone to see if any bitches were getting after me. I started off 3-2, was down a little bit, and then saved myself on Sunday night. Just gotta slam the Packers versus the Bears. That's just a guaranteed win. Smash that. Hit the spread with the Packers. Hit the parlay with the Packers and over. They basically almost went over on their own. Easiest bet of my life. Brought me back positive. Continued Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I just keep winning. So I'm hot right now. I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling good going into this episode. How are you feeling today, Pat? What are you drinking? I heard you had a few drinks tonight. Are you ready?
Yeah, I went to dinner with the future in-laws. Now that I am engaged, gotta call them that. It's not just my girlfriend's parents anymore. I had I had a few Tanqueray and sodas. That's my drink of choice. And now that I've gotten home, I thought I would, continue it because it's about to do Friday Night Lines, and that's how we do it here at Loaded Box.
I'm actually really excited about this because gives give me more time to do shit, and then the kid and the wife go to bed, and I'm just like, now I can drink, I can just take
Yep.
my time and do this. I know you said your fiance's sleeping, so it's like fuck it. Now it's time to get after it. Let's do an extended version. It's almost like shooting the shit on Friday night, like our show, but now we're just doing it by ourselves.
Yes.
I think Ben will hopefully join in the chat because his little baby that wants to bang my son is in bed, sleeping, so he's ready to go. I'm actually drinking. So my buddy that I work with, there's this beer here. It's I don't know if you've heard of Run the Jewels, but apparently it's a band that he's obsessed with, and he always tells me to listen to this one song. Do you know them, Pat?
I've heard of Run the Jewels. I haven't heard much of them, but I know they're pretty
So
popular.
apparently they did like a collaboration with Pipeworks. That's a company I can get along with. The Loaded Box and Pipeworks.
Ooh, is that local? Is that local to you guys?
I actually don't even know. I've never even heard of it. I don't know where it is, and I pretty much know every.
Ooh,
Um,
wine night. This guy beards and beers. He said he's having a wine night. So cheers to you.
hey, my boy Caleb is having a wine night with his wife. Hey, those I've heard. I've never had a wine. Have you gotten drunk off of wine a night? Because I heard it's like the worst hangover like of all time, and I just
Oh, it hits you hard, man. But I love me some red wine. My
oh,
fiance likes some whites, during dinner. But if you start out with a few cocktails and then you go into a nice fancy dinner with some red wine, it's fantastic.
I like how you said your wife likes some whites, and we've got Pat on here.
More than one.
Uh, yeah, I'm not a red. You could get me a $10 bottle of fucking red wine, or a $70 bottle of red wine, and they would taste like red wine to me. I would just be like, oh, it tastes like red wine. If you put them next to each other and asked me which one was the better wine, I wouldn't. I would have no idea.
Hell
It
yeah.
all, to me, it all tastes like It reminds me of like it smells kind of like a permanent marker. And that's just what I think of when I drink red wine. I don't know. I can't get it out of my head.
Nah,
So I'm not a
red
big
man, red wine is so smooth. You gotta get the lines. You know, if you mix it around, you can really see the alcohol content on it. And if you get a good red wine, it almost if the aftertaste is almost like corky, almost like a cork. And when you get that and it's really smooth and it's really good. Some are way too sweet, and you know that when it's a sweet wine, then it's kind of cheap,
yep.
and you're gonna get that hangover. But when it's like a thick, good red wine that has that nice, almost musty, corky taste at the end, it's really good.
You're just saying things that I just don't care about. Honestly, it's just we are the loaded box and we drink beer. I know Ben's a Bush Light guy. I can jump in on Bush Lights because where we from, we smash them. But you know what? We're just beer people. Give me a cheap Miller Lite or a Bush Light. I'll put down 74 of them in one fucking day. Wake up tomorrow, feel fine, and put up 74. Put down 74 more.
Yeah.
Now the problem is when I start getting the liquor is when the hangover rolls around.
Yes, absolutely. I know you guys like Bush Light. You know, I'm not from the West Side. I'm not from Colorado, but man, I like me some Coors Light. I like Bud Light. That's like the neutral. But the other day, I got a 30 of Coors Light, and man, when those mountains turned blue, I swear it was like a full moon. I ended up drinking like 9 or 10 of those in like a 3 or 4 hour span. It's like 2 sips. I was hydrated as ever.
Yeah.
They were fantastic. Like
And
I didn't think I could get buzzed off of light beer like that anymore. But when they go down like that, and you get
yep.
like 9 or 10 down in a few hours, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta turn it into like when you start drinking those, you know it's gonna be like for me it's a full day. Like if I'm gonna do like Miller Lights and I'm gonna get drunk off of them, it's gonna be because I'm day drinking all day, and then you're gonna get drunk off of it because you're gonna drink 27 of them. Like you're gonna put them back.
Yeah, football Sunday, absolutely. It's one of those where my fiance gives me the pass where it's like, oh, it's 10:30 in the morning. I'm cracking open a Coors Light. It's just one of those days.
Anything goes. See, that's more of my Saturday. I usually take it easy on Sunday and just lay and watch football and have my computers up. But when the Packer game comes up, depending on how the game starts going, I may crack a beer too. Like if it's going bad, I'm definitely cracking a beer to try to turn it around. Superstitious as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? Let's jump into the games real quick. We can get back into the. I'll fucking go off track. Fucking bugs flying around at some point. But let's jump right into the college football weekend right away, just so we can hammer through some of these college football game tomorrow, so you guys can put your bets in right now before you go to bed if you're planning on going to sleep early because you're tired and you can't hang. So I'm going to start with the college football picks right away. I love favorites this week because this is an unprecedented year. This is a COVID year where teams are just canceling games, and when you're a good team and games are canceling, then it's all about what you show on the field. It's the eye test, right? So when you're at Clemson, you're Ohio State, you're going to see them both on my sheet. You're someone like that that has games getting canceled, and you want to make that college football playoff. The next games that you show up, you need to beat the fuck out of the teams you're playing. That's why my very first two picks are Clemson minus 22.5 versus Virginia Tech. They've been short of games this year. Like Florida State canceled because they're scared, said it was a COVID issue. They had a game canceled the week before that. I think they've had 2 or 3 games canceled now. Trevor Lawrence was the advocate for playing football this year. This guy's going to come out again, just like he did this last week, won me a bet last week, as part of my 4-1 run, smash Virginia Tech. I mean, they're going to put up numbers, and they're not going to let off the gas. Usually a team will let off the gas when there's a full 12-game season because you're undefeated, Clemson, whatever, you're winning a bunch of games. But they have a loss to Notre Dame, so let's not forget about that. Not only do they have one loss to Notre Dame and have some canceled games, they have to beat the shit out of all these teams, and then they have to go play Notre Dame in the ACC championship and win that game. So they're not hesitating at all. It's fucking foot on their throat, put these guys out of their misery, 75-10 type of victory. 22.5 points isn't enough. I'm not worried about it. The defense continues to get better and better as they go on. Clemson smashes them. Same things with Ohio State. Games keep getting canceled. The Big Ten only had 8 games anyways, 9 games with either the AC or the Big Ten championship or whatever. They were doing a cross division matchup. So second place team at each West and East of the Big Ten play each other, third team play each other in that last week, which is weird but funny and cool because I'm a football fan and I just get to watch another week of Big Ten football. Michigan State has a big win last week against Northwestern, who everybody's like, oh, this is a good team. Michigan State's, lost games when they were favored by double digits, won games when they were dogs by double digits. You can't figure this team out, but they're not. It doesn't matter when you go up against Ohio State. Again, they're a team that has to win by a million. It's all about what you show on the field. They're playing even less games than Clemson this year. So they have to put this flashy number 70 to 10 up just so that the college football playoff committee looks at them and is like, all right, they've done enough. They smashed these teams. They won the Big Ten championship. They have enough games under the belt, and they've dominated enough that we feel they're good enough to put them in the college football playoff. Because I've heard the committee has considered switching them and Texas A&M just due to Ohio State not playing enough games. So they need to kill people. They hear that. Justin Fields hears that. They're going to dominate. Ryan Day's, I think he's got COVID, so I think he's going to be at home coaching. Doesn't matter. I think they smash. Next, I've got Wisconsin minus 15.5 versus Indiana. Indiana just lost their quarterbacks, Penix. I just like to say Penix because it's really close to saying penis. His name is Penix. I'm really excited about that. I'm not really excited about that. I'm just really excited about saying Penix. But what I see Wisconsin after the loss to they lost to Northwestern, going up against Indiana, a couple of ranked teams. I just feel like after losing my Wisconsin bet to Northwestern, I'm not jumping off that train and thinking Indiana can keep this close. I've seen this enough in the days. I think they're going to get that run game back. What the fuck is his name? Mertz is going to get going and start hitting guys wide open down the middle again. And I think they just kind of run up the score. It's another situation where they want to make a New Year's Eve bowl at this point. So they are an awful team that needs to win the rest of their games and win by a lot. And now they're facing Indiana, whose offense has been good with that quarterback, Penix. I can't stop saying
Keep it together, man. Keep it together.
I can't say Penix and keep the same face. Anyways, Wisconsin's going to win this game by 20 to 25 at least, if not more. I got to take one dog, and then I've got another favorite. Kansas State. This is my team. I got them every week. They've won more than they lost for me. They covered for me last week. They've got Texas. I don't trust Texas. Texas is never going to be back. Kansas State can run the ball down your throat. Again, they're opportunistic on defense. 7.5 points. They're playing at home this week. It's not enough. It's too many points. I might end up betting money line and thinking Kansas State can win this game. I really like this matchup. Texas is just too hot and cold. I don't believe in them. And then lastly, this game is amazing. So I know I'm going to educate you on this a little bit, Pat, because I'm sure you're not familiar with either one of these teams.
Yes, please.
Coastal Carolina is undefeated and has won a lot of games. BYU had a game this week that was canceled, and they were originally supposed to play. I can't remember who they're supposed to play, but they're canceled. And then there was talks of them playing Washington, and everybody got excited because BYU's undefeated. They've got the Heisman candidate in Zach Wilson. They have a good running back. They have a pretty solid defense. And they're one of those outside the Power 5 teams. BYU and Cincinnati, I think, are the main two teams that are like, oh, we're undefeated. We're playing well. We want to be talked about in that college playoff picture. So there was this whole BYU, could they play Washington? They didn't want to commit because Washington, if they found another game, were going to bail. But then everybody was going back on Twitter and they were showing Zach Wilson's headband, I believe. It said, any team, any place, anywhere. But then they were kind of like backing off on playing Washington, so it was like a big controversy. Coastal Carolina, who's undefeated, is also a team that's ranked. Game got canceled, so they came to an agreement. And at last minute, I think it was Thursday, and the BYU game was supposed to be, I think it was either BYU or Coastal Carolina. One of the two games was actually supposed to end up being the college game day of the week. They had to switch wherever and they had to drive the bus all the way to the opposite side of the United States, from what I believe. So I think they're going to Coastal Carolina. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know that it's one way or the other. They either went from Coastal Carolina to BYU or the other and had to drive the bus the opposite. But I'm pumping about this. This is an exciting game. BYU is too good. They're just too good. Zach Wilson is going to show out. BYU has to dominate. They keep switching their schedule. They're out to prove something. They're gonna beat the fuck out of this team again. It's just one of those situations. They have to beat the shit out of them, and they're going to because they want to be talked about. They're not gonna make the college football playoff. It's not realistic, but they want to pretend and feel like they're going to. So they're gonna dominate this team. And they got that Heisman man, that quarterback. When you wear a headband that hangs off the back of your helmet, you've got to show out every game. Otherwise, it's just embarrassing.
Honestly, though, looking at their schedule, where are they ranked? They're top 15, right?
Yeah, at least.
Honestly, I know they blow out everyone they played, but
Yep.
I don't even know who I could say that their toughest competition is. Because looking at everyone they beat, what conference are they in?
They are in the Mountain West.
Yeah, the Mountain West, of course. Because looking at their schedule, I don't even know who the highest or even closest to ranked team that they beat is. I mean, I know that they destroy them like 55-3, 48-7, 45-14, but they beat UTSA Roadrunners 27-20, and I don't even think
they
very good.
They played a stupid game there.
So I don't know, man. This could be close for sure, but.
All right, I'm going to talk about this live. Any chances that you could somehow bring Ben into this at all possible? Is it possible? My co-host Ben on the podcast. It doesn't even have to be on video. Can he just get in here conversationally?
Audio? Yeah. Hold on.
All right. While you're working on that,
some producer power.
Yes. While you're working on that, I'm going to get to my NFL picks. I'll just talk. You do your thing, because that's what I do. I talk and I fucking kill it. Right?
Go ahead. I'll figure something out.
All right. 3-2 in the NFL last week. Looking to do better this week. Raiders got fucking smashed last week. I didn't expect that going into them playing the Falcons. That got out of control. Derek Carr, that was just a weird game, right? We can't write off a guy who's having an MVP type season who should have been in the MVP conversation. Obviously, that game. Excuse me. I just burped. That knocked him out of the MVP conversation. But up to that point, he had a lot of touchdowns and like 2 interceptions. All of a sudden, his small hand started fumbling the ball this last week, and it just got weird. And that's an anomaly. Aaron Rodgers has bad games. Tom Brady used to have bad games. He's just not good anymore. Patrick Mahomes has bad games. You've seen it against the Chargers this year. It happens. You have bad games, and sometimes once it starts going bad, it just starts going downhill. And that's what happens. I can't go ahead and remember that, but I think most of your public and your NFL standard regular fans that don't gamble like me are going to see this and be like, oh, Raiders got smashed by the Falcons. The Jets should be able to keep it close with Sam Darnold. This Jets team, Adam Gase going into last week's game against the Dolphins, ahead of the game, Pat, he says, this is a chance for you to see what the offense could have really been like. Because Sam Darnold was back with the receivers being healthy. They proceeded to go ahead and score 3 fucking points. And as soon as he said that and they put up 3 points, he should have been fired. What does it take?
Yes.
Tell me, what does it take for him to be fired? I don't understand. I mean, is he...
He's the worst. He's just the worst. Because honestly, I think Sam Darnold is getting shit all over because of Adam Gase. Because honestly, the things I've seen Sam Darnold do, considering how young he is, I actually do think he has a pretty good future. But I don't know what Adam Gase is doing. He is just the worst. I mean, look at Tannehill right now. I mean, of course he's inconsistent, but imagine what he could have been for the Dolphins way back when Adam Gase was the head coach for Miami. He just curses anyone on that offense. It's terrible.
Okay, I have to read this back and forth between you and Ben, who's trying to get into the...
Oh, he's in.
Ben, mute yourself for a second. I've got to read this back and forth for a second here. So Ben was trying to get in here on just to get in and join with us and talk along or whatever after I just kill it. And Ben goes, it says click join with video or join with audio, ? And Pat comes back with, yes. Ben says, that's not a feasible answer. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm going to get over that. That was great.
That's perfect.
All right. So Raiders -8 versus the Jets. I think they come out, they smash them. That game last week is an anomaly. Again, if you've listened to the Loader Box podcast, you're getting all these picks, but if not, you're getting them brand new. I like the Falcons money line. You and I, Pat, were talking about this. I like the Falcons money line plus 125 against the Saints. You know what? This might be just my hate for Taysom Hill and the fact that I just don't think he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. I truly believed he gets benched in this game. I think Jameis Winston is on the field at some point in this game, taking over for quarterback. This Taysom Hill experiment is over. The Falcons defense just somehow, for some reason, they start to play better in the second half of the year. They suck all year, the first half, and the second half they start playing good. I don't know why they wait so long. Everything gets a little better. Taysom Hill, I mean, you just start bringing 94 guys all up to the line of scrimmage and make them throw the ball. I think you're going to be fine.
Wow. You hear that, Ben? I know Ben's in here, but DJ's talking up the Falcons right now. Holy shit, keep it going. This is you're in rare form right now. Usually you find any reason to take down the Falcons. So
I hate the Falcons.
So keep going.
I think I might hate Taysom Hill more.
Don't stop.
Thirdly, I don't know if that's a word. Third pick of the week, Packers minus 8.5 versus Eagles. I don't think I need to explain it. It's Packers. I bet them every week. I win more than I lose. So just go ahead and keep betting them because you're going to make a profit off of them. Fourth, I like the Chargers in a pick 'em versus the Patriots. I know this is fucking crazy, right? You've got Belichick versus Anthony Lynn in the biggest mismatch of coaches of all time. Anthony Lynn is the worst game manager, clock manager ever. But I'm sorry, Pat. I just think the Chargers are a better, more talented football team right now than the Patriots, and they need to win. They need to win some game against a formidable opponent at some point. And this is the game I think Justin Herbert does enough to win it. I think it's going to be close, but I was a big Cam supporter all year, and I've lost it. I've lost the Cam luster. I love Cam Newton as a person, and I hope he bounces back and proves me wrong. I do, but I just don't see it. I think he's a backup quarterback from now forward.
Yeah, honestly, as a Patriots fan, there's never been, I guess, more of a hyped up feeling of when we come out, week one, of course, hoping for Cam all off season. The hype is there. Is he going to be the Cam from days past? Who is he going to be? Everyone doubting him, everyone hyping him up. He comes in, beats the Dolphins. That was fantastic. And then that game against Seattle.
The goddamn mouth pad.
I knew
shut
it.
up. I knew that was coming.
I was just hoping he'd stay muted for the end of this.
And that Seattle game I had such high hopes because he was actually slinging it really well. He played really well against the Seahawks in that game, and then it came down to the last play. He didn't get it in, but there was still hope, and then he went down with COVID, and then ever since then, he hasn't been shit, and it's been hard to watch because stupid turnovers. He looks like he's a rookie quarterback, but he's not, and it's just really hard to watch because me, growing up a Patriots fan, last I remember is Drew Bledsoe getting injured and Tom Brady taking over, and then I haven't seen anything since. And now I'm watching Cam Newton just look like a rookie quarterback, and it's really hard to watch.
Yeah, that's tough. All right, Ben, just stay quiet for like two more things. I'm going to do this last game. Pat's going to do his, and then I'll introduce you, and then you can say whatever the fuck you want. The last one is Browns-Titans over 53.5. The only reason I took this game is because Ben was so confident about the under on the podcast. Because he thinks it's going to be an old school like battle. He said Emmitt Smith versus Barry Sanders or whatever because of Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. But I think both these teams' defenses stink, and they're going to just go back and forth on each other, and each run that they have could go for 15 to 20 yards. So when you're, getting 100 yards and four or five carries, sorry for the stutter there, and 4 or 5 carries, the run game doesn't really matter because they're just going to be running down each other's throats. So I love the over 53.5. Pat, what's your pick for this week?
When looking at the schedule, I really like the idea of when a head coach is fired and the team really rallies behind that, and then they make the interim head coach look really good. And I'm excited for that Detroit-Chicago game, huge division game. NFC North, some of the best rivalries in the NFL, and I really think. I believe Chicago's favored -3, and I really think that Detroit could actually come out with the win that game. They have a decent quarterback. It's not like the quarterback is the problem there. I really think Matthew Stafford can be pretty underrated, so I'm gonna take Detroit in that game over Chicago.
All right, so a man that puts his daughter to bed by himself, takes some edibles and drinks. A man that has one twisted nut. A man that truly deserves no introduction has joined the show. My podcast host, Ben. Just let it rip. Let's hear it.
Oh shit, she's crying. I have to go, guys. Dude, this sucks.
Are you being serious?
No, I actually wanted to. I thought that'd been pretty funny if I'd have just came up here, said that, and then left.
You got video going or what? Are we sticking with audio for you?
Well, you told me only to do audio.
I said it. I didn't know if you could.
Yeah, no. I just because I'll have to change it on the fly, but get your video going. We'll see how it looks on the stream. Just with
Are you ready for this?
I
I'm gonna be ready for this.
Let's see. You better have your pants off.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Oh
There it goes.
shit, that's
Look
horrible.
At that ugly. You're so dark.
Yeah, you're really dark. Get some light.
Oh, there we go.
All right, let me fix.
So
this on
that
the
was one
fly.
of the topics I wanted to bring up. Can you guys hear me still?
Age
Yeah.
sex location.
Yeah,
So I've gotten into a habit. I'm sitting on the floor, like as you can see here, my couch is right there. I'm just sitting on the floor, and I have this body pillow, and I just succumb to this body pillow. Are you guys of the age yet where you lay on the floor? And I do it because it's good for my back. Like it's a reset for the day. It's hitting the reset on the old NES to get that thing going again. That's what I do for my back. I sit on the floor.
What's
Typic-
NES?
Typically, they just blow in the cartridge to get the reset. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, baby. What's
That's
NES though? What's NES? I don't. What's NES?
Oh my god, I'm flipping on it. You know,
Nintendo
you don't know
Entertainment System.
Yeah, SNES, the old school Super Nintendo. They used
Super
to call it.
Nintendo.
Gotcha. I don't like those type of abbreviations or whatever that was.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
The
I
other
like
thing
it.
that needs addressing, and I'm pissed I didn't start with this. I caught something about Pat talking about Coors Light.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pat, have you heard the recent ads lately? Seen the commercials on TV and basically their new tagline? Have you seen that?
I have not.
Coors Light is now identifying themselves as the beer for the person whose bra comes off at the end of the day. You
Oh,
seen
I
that commercial
saw
where-
that. The morning
yeah,
beer
the girl
stuff like
takes the
that.
bra. No. It's the girl, the office girl gets home from work at 5:30. She kicks her shoes off at the door. She finds a Coors Light. She sits on the couch and she takes her bra off without taking her shirt off, and she flings it. So I just imagine you getting home, right next by your Christmas tree there, undoing your bra through your shirt, and then just flinging it behind you and letting it be an ornament.
Yes,
that-
absolutely. I do that.
Was
every
that
day.
actually
That's
your
great.
baby in the background?
Who?
You. I heard something yelling in the background. Was that Pat or was that Ben?
That
not
was
me.
Pat's baby.
It might
Oh,
have
okay.
been my baby.
Ben, why are you drinking
What's up,
or
babe?
are you just not doing anything?
I got myself a Busch Light right here.
Okay, I was worried about that. Are you on your edible shit tonight?
Here's the thing. I was drinking beforehand, and then I'm like, oh, DJ said he was going to invite me to this cool hangout thing that these guys do every week.
Yeah, the
And
cool
I'm sitting here,
hangout
I'm
thing.
sitting here, and then all of a sudden I found out that it started, and I wasn't invited. So I quit drinking. Like, I'm going to go to bed. But
What?
then you caught my attention just enough. Well, actually, Pat did with his Coors Light talk. So I figured I finally could get back in on this. So I'm here, and I cracked a new beer. I got it while you guys were muting me because you didn't want me to come in with the truth. You guys wanted to just feed these people lies.
Well, you
so
said
I'm
you
back.
did all this. You said you did all this prep. Is there any prep you did for the picks or what?
Yeah, I got one more thing here. Big Mouth is back, season 4 on
Yes,
Netflix.
it is. That's a great
You guys
show.
need to get your Big Mouth on. DJ, have you started that yet?
I don't like animated television
Oh,
shows.
grow up.
Oh man,
Grow up.
I've been waiting for
Me?
Big Mouth. I've been waiting for the new Big Mouth season. I don't even remember the last thing that happened. I watched the Christmas one. They came out with some Christmas, I think,
It
some
was a
special
Valentine's
episode.
Day
The
one.
Valentine's Day, that's what it was. But I've been catching up. I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of BoJack Horseman. If you haven't watched that show is fucking gold. The 3rd season came out, and I've been watching that with my fiance, and we saw that just this week, Big Mouth, the new season came out, so I gotta get on that. That show is incredible.
This is why I love us, because we can just fucking go off topic and say whatever we want and come back to football. But this is what makes the loaded box the loaded box. I burp. You guys talk about whatever. I have 2 questions, one for each of you. First, I already forgot my one for Ben, so I'm gonna go to Pat first. Why do you have lights on your Christmas tree, or is it just a fucking you
Not
went
yet.
down to the woods and chopped that
Not
fucker
yet.
out?
It's just bare right now. We got it set up. We haven't really had the time to put some lights on it, but it's a good fucking look. It's a good looking tree. It was the type where we went out, we cut it down ourselves, we dragged it through the woods, and we got it home.
Yeah.
So
And then I forgot my question for Ben, which I thought was really good at the time. It'll probably come back to me. So I'm gonna just move on from that because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you
I've
fucked
got
up.
something for you because I was actually talking to my wife about something like 2 days ago, and then they literally made reference to this on Big Mouth, season 4, episode 1. So you guys, what were we? This is happening on December 4th. Um, it's starting to get a little bit colder out, especially where the three of us live.
Yep.
I'm of the age now. My knees get really dry. Like I get super dry knees. Are you guys of that age where your knees get dry?
If you say
Holy
of that
shit.
age one more time, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I am your age. Number two, I'm half black, so I've been ashy since the day I was born. I get the driest skin ever, and I'm ashy as fuck if I don't lotion up every single second of every day, and I just can't keep up. So I'm just a big pile of ash. So you don't even know what the ash life is, Mister Dry Skin.
That's so funny because honestly, just the past couple years, I've started to get dry when it hits the winter, and I was like,
Oh.
"What the fuck is going on? Do I have allergies? Like, do I have
Oh, you're of that
psoriasis?
age.
Do I have psoriasis or something?" But like, I literally when I like get out of the shower and like I dry off, I have to lotion because it or else I'm just itchy as shit. My legs, my arms, it's terrible. And I watched a Bill Burr bit where
I love Bill Burr.
he has a black girlfriend and he's like itching. He's like, "Holy shit, I'm itchy," and she's like,
Yep.
"Oh, you're ashy," and he's just like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, white people get ashy too," and he's just like, "You know what? I don't think we do," and and it's so funny because like. Ashy is the perfect way to put it because when you're fucking dry, you need some lotion because no matter what you do,
Oh,
it's terrible.
Some lubricant. Yeah, I remember the question I was going to ask Ben. How do I look tonight for your? I know you always criticize me when I have like this kind of shirt on when I'm talking gambling. Apparently, I don't look like a gambler enough.
No, you don't. Here's the thing: with the hat saved you tonight. Like, take your hat off once. Yo, man. See, now you don't look the part. You look such an idiot. Like, no one's gonna listen to you. You put the hat on. The hat camouflages the shirt. Put it that way. Like I'm saying, you need like a Curtis Martin jersey. You need something
True.
old
Like,
with a little
but
bit of
I'm
a
not.
hole in it.
You're
Oh, I
acting like
gotta
I'm
show
from
you
New
guys something.
Jersey. I'm not from Northeast.
back.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not from the Northeast. I'm not from New Jersey. You're acting like I'm from New Jersey, or like the Northeast. No, I'm fucking from small town Wisconsin. I'm half black, bro. Like let me be me and let me gamble like a degenerate. I talk the talk and I walk the walk. Like if you can't get on that, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm a gambler.
Yeah. So I'll talk about one thing gambling. I turned on a TV tonight when I got done putting the kid to bed, and it was Louisiana Lafayette and Appalachian State.
Mm-hmm.
It was pouring rain. So here I am, a few beers deep. Look at the over under right before kickoff. It's 52 and a half. I've got the bet ready to go on the under, and it said it was only 3 mile per hour winds. DJ, did I do the right thing and say, you know what? Rain doesn't matter. It's the wind.
Depends on how much rain it is. If it's a pouring rain, it does affect the game.
Yeah, it looked borderline terrible at the time, and I didn't. I think it's halftime right now. They're interviewing some dude with a
It's
mask.
9-10.
Yeah, so it should have been a good under. Like I'm thinking I should have jumped ship and just done the under.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a pouring rain, where like the Patriots game that one night, oh Jesus Christ, a pouring rain like that Patriots game, then it matters if there's no wind. But if it's just like a regular like even fall with less wind, it's not as big of a deal because you can keep the ball semi-dry and they don't stay slippery. But when it gets that like downpour, you can't keep balls dry. And if it's downpouring, and fucking Pat with the Jonathan.
Pat, what do you think we're talking about right now? Like you caught the last 10 seconds of that. What do you think we were talking about?
How much weather impacts fantasy football when it comes to games?
That was a much better guess than I was hoping for. I
He wanted
something.
balls dry.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a football podcast.
What is this? What is Ben showing
Is that
us?
a Tua
Anyways,
jersey? Oh God.
well, people join along. They're not going to know that we're a fantasy football, like a football podcast, website, whatever, video content making team. So let's jump into something. Me and Pat have a little something planned. And if you have anything, Ben, to add to us, or anything content wise that you want to add, that would be great. But we're just going to talk about college, or not the college football, just playoff picture in the NFL, and just some NFL fantasy stuff going into the playoffs and shit like that. We're just going to fucking roll with it. So where should we start? Where do you think? What do you want to talk about first?
Oh, let's get some AFC East talking going
Oh,
because
here you
I
go.
know, me being a huge
Yes, I love
Patriots
that.
fan, Ben being a huge Dolphins fan, I want to know how we think the rest of the season's gonna go because honestly, I have just admitted to myself that I'd rather see the Patriots tank than even do well anymore. But honestly, that win against Arizona last week didn't really do any good for us. But I don't see anyone else from the AFC East making the playoffs except Buffalo.
Wow. What do you think about that thought? Oh, come on, Mr. Muty. What do you think about that, Ben?
It's funny. My name on the screen here is Mel.
I know, because you don't change your name. You can change it.
It'd been better if you'd have called me Mel.
Real important. That's a great answer. I'm glad we joined that subject.
Exactly. So you're thinking that the Bills are the only team from the East that'll make the playoffs?
Correct.
Well, here's the thing: like the Dolphins will probably win Sunday, so that'll be up to 8 wins. But then they run into, I think it's like the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Bills, the Patriots. Like it gets tough. They could legit lose all those games, finish 8-8. So in that case, yeah, they probably won't.
It's 3 wild card teams, right? Now
It's three
instead of
wild
just
cards,
2.
and it's going to be one of either the Titans or the Colts.
Yep.
And then you've got right
I
now
got
the
it.
Dolphins.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Cleveland. Well, Pittsburgh will win the division. You got
Yep.
Cleveland, Baltimore, who just lost and looks like ass right now. So it's like
Dolphins, Colts, Raiders,
Yeah, the Raiders. So
Ravens.
honestly, that Dolphins versus Raiders game, that Dolphins versus Bills game, those are going to be some big games. So it's going to come down to like who's winning those games, in my opinion, because the Dolphins beat the Bills, bam, they're right there tied for the division again. But I'm kind of that mindset where like, Jesus, it's December, it's Miami. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying like, yeah, they have to make the playoffs this year. I'm not that guy. I think you just take an 8-8 season if that's what happens, and you consider it a success. Considering a lot of like ESPN dudes were saying that the Dolphins were literally like putting people's lives in danger for playing the way that they were. Going 8-8 the next year was pretty successful, in my opinion.
So you're just giving up on the division, like no chance. You're only 1 game back, but
I didn't say that. I said the game against the Bills is going to be huge.
No, I think he just said that true Dolphins fans perspective is kicking in, where it's just like 8-8, that's fine.
that's fine.
You know?
We might go 8-8, but that's pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
That's
Do
my
you-
comfort zone. That's where I've lived the last 2 decades.
Honestly, the biggest difference is as a Patriots fan looking at 8-8 and as a Dolphins fan looking at 8-8, those are 2 completely different things. I think that's insane. Like just how I feel looking at the Patriots, with a negative record going
Yeah,
into week
full
13,
500.
it's disgusting. I honestly, it hurts. Like I knew this was coming. I've been fully prepared for it,
I
but
haven't.
it still hurts. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's a weird division, and like Ben said, these Dolphins have some fucking a gauntlet coming up. You were talking about their secondary, obviously Xavier Howard and Byron Jones is now healthy, has improved, and that run defense is still trash, right? It's just not a great run defense. As
better.
it is. Yeah, I mean, I said that for Green Bay like 100 times, and then they'll give up 700 yards on the ground. So it is what it is. Now I have to ask, if we're gonna just talk about that, what's the Tua? What is your the Tua talk, right? Is he being benched? Is everybody wanting to draft? Like, are they wanting to draft the quarterback? Why is he not playing this weekend? Is this how long can a thumb be hurt?
Dude, this is the thing. It's people like you and us now that are diving into this farther that's making this a story. It's not a story.
Well, it is.
How is
though,
it
'cause
not
he's
a story?
playing.
How is it not a story? They benched
Because-
Fitzpatrick
because-
out of nowhere so they could make a
Tua,
run,
yeah.
and now Tua has a hangnail, and it's like we want to go back to Fitzpatrick. It's almost like what Dirk Cutter did with Jameis and Fitzpatrick in Tampa Bay. Always flip flopping back and forth. Like if you want to make a run or you don't. It's almost like Flores is like, shit, we're almost doing too well. We still have some tanking to go. We got to put Fitzpatrick back in, and it's really confusing.
Do you guys honestly think that Tua being 3-1 as a starter with 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, do you honestly think that they're punting on this guy? You think they're making up a thumb injury? No, it's a legit thumb injury
It's a thumb injury.
on his throwing hand. This is the biggest non-story ever. Brian Flores is literally on record. Someone asking him basically the question you asked me, and he stares at the guy. It says, how many different ways do I need to say it? When Tua is healthy, Tua is the starting quarterback. It is a huge non-story that so many people have blown up. Oh my God, are they going to trade up with their 2 first-round picks and take a quarterback? No, that's not even a chance. There's a 0 chance that happens.
A 0?
I agree with that.
It's exactly 0. It's less than 0. Is less than 0 a thing? Like, it's such a non-story. I hate that it's even being talked about. It's the dumbest thing ever.
But here's the thing: is like, you don't think he can throw with the thumb injury right now at all? Like, he has the ability to throw a little bit at all.
Okay, here's the what I would call like.
If it was Aaron Rodgers with the same thumb injury right now, would Aaron Rodgers be playing football?
I don't know what the fucking injury feels like. Here's the deal, though.
What is your guess?
If here's what I'm thinking. If it's that bad, where it's going to like hinder the team to an extent where he's not playing at 100% and it's going to hinder the offense, they know that they have a reliable guy in Ryan Fitzpatrick who's literally just as good as Tua right now and knows the system even better, is better in the system than Tua. Why risk even going out to a bad start, throwing more media into a whole like, oh, is Tua your guy thing? Just let him rest. Let him get healthy. That's exactly what they're doing. And the people that aren't seeing this, it's blowing my mind. I can't believe you of all people, like, you're part of the loaded box. We don't buy into that shit. What are you doing?
If Aaron Rodgers had the same thumb injury, would he play or would he not? That's what
He'd
I'm
have to
curious
play
about.
because your first round quarterback sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
He hasn't been active yet.
I don't know if that's an insult or what that is.
It's me lashing out.
It is, because like my quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. We're a playoff team every year. I can't take offense to that because I don't like Jordan. Honestly, I don't know what to take of that because I'm not offended, and I feel like I should have been, but there was no offense taken in that comment. But I'm just wondering, like, if you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes in that situation with that thumb injury, are they out these 2 weeks?
I don't know.
There's a situation where that they have a reliable backup, like you said, and he's not completely healthy, so why throw him out there in general when Fitzpatrick could just do the same things, if not more?
Hey, last year didn't New Orleans kind of do the same thing with Drew Brees? So I guess that's the closest parallel that we could do. I mean, I know Drew Brees' hand injury was maybe more severe than Tua's, but they were ready to, even though they were contenders, they were still ready to sit Brees a few weeks, and because I think it's more of that how much faith they have in their backup. I think it's less relevant of how much faith they have in their starter than how much faith they actually have in their backup, where they clearly were confident in Teddy Bridgewater, and he went out and I think he won the 3 games that he played when Brees was out. So I think it's more about how they feel about their backup than how they feel about actually their starter.
I don't think they were in any rush to bring Pat Mahomes back from that injury either. Like, once he came back, like, he missed a couple of weeks, and it wasn't like, oh shit, like, it's not obviously it's not the same situation. We're not talking about a rookie quarterback that's trying to prove himself, but it's like, yeah, you just don't rush a guy back, especially when they're playing the Bengals. Like, why mess that up?
All right, moving on. How do we feel about the Steelers 11-0? Can I go through their schedule really quick?
Go ahead.
They played the Giants, Broncos, Texans, Eagles, Browns, Titans, Ravens, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars, and Ravens again. That's not a very tough schedule.
I counted two teams that are like realistically good opponents.
Titans and Ravens.
Yeah.
That's it. And they're 11-0. The Ravens, I've said all year, are a trash, overrated team. Lamar Jackson stinks. The Titans almost came back and won that game. That was a good win. But really, if you went through like a power rankings of the teams in the NFL, I don't think anybody, they haven't played any of those teams until you get the Titans at probably like number 8 or something like that, right? So what is this? Is this a team that if they actually get a first round bye that you think wins even their first game? With the home field, even with home field advantage this year, because it's COVID, so it doesn't matter.
I think with the extra wild card teams, they could probably win their first game even with the bye, I guess.
But Right, but that extra wild card team would have to win still.
Yeah, I mean, look at what Tennessee did last year, though. I mean, I guess they won the division, but still, they were very underrated, and they went into Baltimore and beat Baltimore. So when it comes to the playoffs, I mean, everything changes. But when you do look at their schedule, over half of their wins have been within one score, and that's even against Denver, Denver within one score, Houston one score, Philadelphia one score, Dallas one score, and then Baltimore last week one score. That's a lot. Where when you look like next year, when we look back at how good they actually were, you're gonna look at those games and say that's almost a flip of a coin where the ball just bounced the right way on certain plays, and that'll get you a win in the NFL. So when you look at those one score games, that means a lot. That's really relevant of how good the team actually is.
Yeah, turnover look, right, Ben? It's unsustainable.
Oh
Sounds
my
like the whole
God,
Dolphins. Sounds like the Dolphins' existence. I feel like he's muted and he's staring at me weird. And I don't know what it's happening. And I don't like it very much.
Okay, well, what about, I know, of course, going over the Steelers schedule, but the biggest talking point, I think, is the NFC East. I feel like we could probably say we could probably ask who's going to win the NFC East, and I think all three of us could come up with a different answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate this division. I call them I think you listen to the podcast, but I call them the NFC Yeast with a Y at the beginning because they're a bunch of smelly vaginas, smelly pussies because they're so fucking bad.
They are.
Like right now I'm like, oh, the Cowboys can win this division. Like all of a sudden I said this on the podcast. I just all of a sudden now think the Cowboys are going to win that division for some reason with Andy Dalton
today, but the Ravens
and a little
and
more
Steelers
offense
games
there.
had
Their
to
team's
be-
starting to improve. I think the Cowboys might win the division, but who knows?
Ah, you asshole! I'm waving my hand here,
Yeah,
trying to cut
go.
in. I wanted to play a game, and you totally ruined my game.
Well, I was looking away.
God,
What's
we
the
ruined
game?
the game.
I wanted to say on the count of three, we all say out loud who we think's going to win the division, and you
Okay,
kind of blew it.
he went Cowboys. Who you thinking, Ben?
Can me and you play the game?
You guys do
Yeah,
it.
all right.
I'll
let's
do it
go.
too. Still.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Washington.
Cowboys.
Forwards.
Literally, nobody picked the Giants too. Who
No.
are leading the division, right?
No, honestly, the Giants' defense has actually been playing a lot better this season than expected. But when you look at that division, they all have such inconsistent offenses where I think it's going to come down to defense, and probably coming into the season, the most overlooked defense is probably Washington. Their front seven is so good. They probably have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Not even just the AFC East or NFC, probably the NFL. And when it comes down to those division games, I think if whoever's at quarterback, Alex Smith, if he just is the classic game manager that he is and just doesn't turn the ball over, almost like what he did in Kansas City, their defense will be good enough to honestly win them that division. It's terrifying, but I think it'll be Washington.
I think the funniest thing is that none of us picked the Giants, and they're leading the division right now.
I know, right?
Well, they're tied with Washington. They're both 4 and 7.
But they're leading.
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
'Cause of the
Tiebreaker-wise.
tiebreaker, yeah.
Great. They also have Colt McCoy at quarterback. You feel
Yeah,
great?
I think it's funny.
What I think is funny is the
Uh-oh.
NFC East is the only division where all 4 teams have a negative point differential.
It's terrible. It's so horrible.
We have time. We have a timed out
We do
countdown
because of
and
Zoom.
Zoom here.
We do.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I
What
wanted
is
to
it
get
We have 10
because
minutes.
I think it's because we added a third person, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is what we need for the podcast, DJ. It'd hurry you up from all the stammering.
Yeah.
you do.
It's a countdown. It's ridiculous. I was like, wait, what is this? But yeah, you only have 40 minutes or some shit with a third person, and we are cheap, and we don't buy extra
Yeah,
time.
I'm not
It's
buying
not what
that.
we do.
No, thank
I
you.
could never last 40 minutes with a third person, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't last 40 minutes by myself.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, so let's fly around real quick. Do we have any? Well, let's. Do we have any fantasy football quick questions, thoughts? Do you have any questions in the chat that you had at all, Pat?
Looking at the
Nothing?
chat, we don't
Just
have
smashing
anything. We had Beards and Beers come in, show
Yeah,
some
with this
love,
wine
which
talk.
we appreciate. I love wine. Ben, how do you feel about wine?
Again, I don't want to even talk about it because I feel like I'm gonna out myself on some shit here.
Oh,
What
let's
does that
go.
mean?
Come on,
I
come on.
said wine. I hate wine. I said I don't know the difference between any type of red wine.
Yeah, I mean, all right, fine. You talked me into it. You twisted my arm. Not a wine guy in general, but if I'm gonna drink it, it has to be like super fruity.
Oh, some Riscato, or maybe some super fruity, sugary
See, he's
sangria.
just saying. He says words and I don't get it.
I don't know what he just said. I
Yeah.
totally tuned out. So he said, "So you're saying I don't know. I don't know." what
You
he's
should have
saying."
heard the red wine words he was saying earlier.
Oh,
He
I
said
heard
like,
him.
"Oh,
I
you
heard-
did."
Yeah.
He lost me like 5
I decided.
seconds.
Yeah, I decided to start reading the dictionary when he was
Yeah.
saying that.
I was like, I don't know what you're saying right now, but I don't know the difference between a red wine and a red wine.
You guys gotta be adults, okay? Get a nice California blend, pop it
Here we go
open,
again.
and just do it like a couple ounce pour and just enjoy it.
Do you read like the LeBron James book or what
Oh gosh,
of red wine?
no.
Pat, I got one fantasy question. I know our countdown clock is on, but when it's like trade deadline season, like coming up here, and you're in like a dynasty
shit.
league, and
A dynasty league? Is that what you said?
yeah, dynasty league, like regardless of where you are, do you kind of get like trade fever? Like you want to make a last second push, or do you just sit back?
Absolutely. I think it all depends where, if you're looking at your team, by that point, you have to decide if, take a look at the other teams in your league. Can you beat those teams or can you not? Because you're either competing or you're not. You don't want to be that, half in, half out, because then that's when you are consistently mediocre. You want to look
Right.
at the players you have. Are they worthy chips? Can you trade those for draft picks, or do you want to trade draft picks for players so you can compete? So you really have to decide by the deadline if you're gonna compete or if you're not. And if you're not competing, then trade those studs for someone who you're hyped about more than consensus and maybe a good draft pick, or trade the draft picks that you have for a few studs so you can compete.
Hey Ben, before you respond to any of what he said, can you pull up college football playoff slate on gambling at all by chance?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
All
Might
right,
not
so
be
respond
fast.
to him and pull up your gambling in the last.
Wait, I
in
have
the
to
last one.
multitask.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I can do it. So here's the thing. I've never done a dynasty league, and I know why Ben asked this question, or I know I'm part. This is the first dynasty I've ever done, and it's his. I'm in a playoff push,
Such a lie.
and I got to like this point where I am obsessed with trades right now. Like, or not obsessed, but like I'm really pushing to make a trade to get some guys in the playoffs and shit like that. And I'm just like, I'm texting like 45 different people, and it's probably the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. Right now, I feel like a real life GM trying to text and make trades and negotiate deals. Like I had 3 picks on the table the other day, first, second, third round pick, trying to get Darren Waller, which didn't get taken. And I mean, I'm trying to negotiate all over the place, and I think if you don't get that excited, you just don't belong in dynasty or fantasy football. Like
I
if
agree.
you can't if your dick doesn't get a little bit hard for the end of the season and making trades, even whether you're out of the playoffs, you're trying to get picks for players, or if you're in the playoffs, you're trying to get players to make that payoff push and give away some picks. And your dick has to get hard because you're always involved. You're looking at those teams.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is when it comes to dynasty is, for me, I have a couple people in my biggest dynasty league, the hardcore homer league, the most active league. Some people during the off season, they kind of die off and it's hard to get them active. But if your dick isn't getting rock hard for the draft or when free agency opens and everything like that, then get the fuck out of dynasty, honestly.
Yeah.
Because dynasty typically dies off during the season, because going in whether you're going to be a great team in the hunt or whether you're just waiting to see how rookies develop, and then right when the off season hits and all of your seasonal leagues are dead, all of the DFS is over, that's when dynasty leagues get hot.
I hate because I'm on the sleeper app. I've told DJ this. I'm on it 6 hours a day,
Yeah.
and I get pissed. Like if there's like a new message or a transaction, and I see someone like little helmet isn't by that,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are they doing? Like, and it's been like 2 hours, and there's like only 10 of the people from the league. I look out and see who those people are.
That's
and
me.
Yep,
I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
I've
Like,
scrolled
me.
up.
More important?
It's been like March or April, and the draft is happening, and I've scrolled up, and some people's helmets are there when it's like the weekly recap from like the week they didn't make the playoffs from like week
Oh.
13, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? And
All
that's
right.
when I start booting people out of the league, and I start replacing them because as a commissioner, you got to keep that culture going of everyone being involved, or else people just don't feel good about the league anymore.
3 minutes, Ben. This is my gambling show. This is Friday Night Lines. I gotta end this thing. Before we end, I need to get a couple college football picks before you, and then I'm gonna close this bitch out.
Yeah, let's go.
You want my picks?
Yeah, that's why I told you to bring the lines up. Give me just a couple. Just run through it really fast in your head.
All right. Well, obviously, I like Florida against
Yeah.
Tennessee. I went to that game last year. It was never a contest. I don't expect it being much. People thought Tennessee was going to be better this year. They're not.
Nope.
You got Kyle Squared rolling in Gainesville right now. 18.
Heisman.
Fucking swallow that. Both of them should be Heisman. They should split it.
Yeah.
What you want? One more pick?
It's just how many? Just give me whatever you like when you see it. You got
Oh
a
man.
minute and a half before I start.
I always
cutting you off.
get intrigued when I look at an Oklahoma over under. This week it's over 61. They play against Baylor. Oh God, I think I would take that game over 61.
That's all you
There
got
you go.
for us.
There you
Well,
go.
yeah, you told me to give you two, and we
I
only
said
got a
give me.
minute.
I said give me whatever. I gave you a minute and a half. You have till 1 minute remaining time, and then I'll
Well,
close her out.
Let me tell you what, DJ. If you got an extra minute here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's all I got.
That's all he's got. I don't know if you
Alright.
saw my picks, but I'm fucking the god of this shit. All right, so let's close it out now before the shit gets too crazy
Too
or
weird.
gets too weird. Fucking Ben came in and ruined our 40-minute time limit.
Less
So
than a minute. What happens if we go
Motherfucker.
over?
it just closes out. We're
I'm
done.
gonna shut up so you can finish.
All right. You know what? I appreciate everybody joining us for Friday Night Lines. I appreciate Ben jumping on in the middle of it and ruining our time management skills here. But actually, it's almost a good thing so that we could actually shut it down because I could just talk till fucking
Yeah, we'd go
11
forever.
o'clock, midnight.
My
You
fiance would be pissed.
Yeah, Saturday night shooting the shit. We did that. We probably went for 3 to 4 hours. So appreciate people coming on, people watching. I'll retweet this, put it on the fucking Twitter,
Good.
Twitter. I got the guy doing the time. Appreciate Ben joining us. Obviously, I appreciate my boy Pat on the ones and the twos, always
sir.
fucking killing it for me. I appreciate him so much that I let him join in with me and
Yep.
ruin my good looks just
Mm-hmm.
to make him happy. I'm very disappointed in the Jonathan Taylor jersey because I don't think he exists. That's all I got for you. Take these picks.
Hey, that Green Bay defense knows he exists. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, whatever. Take these picks. All of the ones I gave you, ignore whatever Ben gave you because they're probably going to be wrong, those two picks, but I just wanted him to feel like he had contributed a little bit. Take these picks, put them in. I'm the hottest fucking gambler you know right now. I just keep going and join us again next Friday.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming along. Cheers.
Cheers. Hell yeah, that was wild.